Okay, thank you so much for coming on to AMA's Lunchtime Learning Series. My name is Maria Asuelimen. I will be facilitating the webinar today. Just some quick things. If you are new to using GoToWebinar, you can click on the questions or chat box to type in a question at the end of the webinar when I break for questions. And so I just wanted to say, that you will have the opportunity to do that. My name is Maria Asuelimen, as I said, and I'm the Managing Director of AMA Consulting. My bio is here on the slide, but the big key things that I want you to know about me if you're new to AMA Lunchtime Learning is that I am the Managing Director and founder of AMA Consulting. We are a professional services firm, and we offer services primarily to the federal government. The next slide will go into detail about specifically what services we offer. But my background is 16 years in management and leadership with small organizations, large organizations, as well as the federal government. I have worked with FEMA, with the U.S. Small Business Administration. My trade is actually executive coaching. I'm a trainer, coach, facilitator by trade. And I started AMA Consulting in 2011. So that's my background. I teach a lot of classes for the Small Business Development Center throughout Maryland. So that's Central Region in College Park, Western Region out in Frederick, Southern Region in La Plata. I also teach classes and do webinars for PTAP as well, Procurement Technical Assistance Center, as well as the Business Center, as well as the Chamber of Commerce here in Prince George's County. So if you're from any of those organizations, thank you for joining and welcome. AMA Lunchtime Learning started this webinar series in the summertime because we're a training organization. One of the services that we offer, as you see here on the screen, these are our capabilities, is training. We train over 1,000 federal employees annually, from FEMA to NASA to Department of Education to the Coast Guard, and we train on a variety of topics. And one of the issues that we uncovered after training was that a lot of agencies did not have a learning, if you will, infrastructure for continuous learning. So we started this webinar series on a variety of topics to kind of offer that as an add-on. And since then, we've invited other leaders, small business owners, and just individuals who want to grow professionally and really want to take ownership for their learning and on a variety of topics. Okay, so I'm not going to read the slide. This is what we do at AMA Consulting, 3 primary areas, and you can see them up there. We're a small women-owned business, as I mentioned, and we serve primarily the federal government. So today's topic is decision-making for impact. And this topic, we actually have a problem-solving class that we teach for federal employees. And part of that problem solving is a decision matrix or decision making. But this topic is primarily just talking about, how do we make decisions? So whether you're a business owner, you're working in a large bureaucracy like the federal government, or you're working for a small organization or a nonprofit, decisions are a big part of what you will need to do as a leader or as a manager. And so I defined decisions as choosing an outcome from multiple options to solve a business problem. So there are a couple of components here with this definition. The first one is that you have to make a choice. The second one is that there are multiple options. And the third one is that you actually have a purpose why you are making a decision, is to solve a problem. So that is what a decision is. Those are the components of a decision. As I mentioned at the end of the slide, at the end of the presentation, you would be able to ask questions. So before we delve into the meat of the material for today's webinar, I just want to do a quick poll just to get a pulse of what you find most difficult about making decisions. Okay, so I'm going to launch the poll, and all you have to do is you have to select one answer, and then we'll see what the results are. All right, so the poll has been launched, collecting responses. I'd like everyone to please participate. I only have 25%, 50%. Everyone, please participate. 50% voted. Can we get a couple more people to please participate in the poll so that we can close it? We only have 30 minutes on the webinar. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. So everybody voted. And now we're going to look at what the results are. We just moved to using the GoToWebinar, so I'm not sure if this is what I was supposed. I think I did this last time, and this was not really what I was supposed to do. I apologize. I'm still getting used to this here. So let me see. What does it say? Close share. This is what I should have done. Can everybody see the poll results? I'm not sure if everyone can see the poll results. Okay, it says attendees are viewing. All right. So 75% of people say that what they find most difficult about making a decision is the fear of the consequence, number one. And then 25% of people said the second reason that they find the second factor rather that they find difficult about making a decision is unsure if you have the authority to decide. Yeah. So those I think that the answer with most people saying the fear of the consequence is really typically what we find anytime we do this poll is that and this is the reason why people shy away from making decisions or coming down on a particular side because of really the fear of the consequence. So I am going to close the poll now, and we're going to go back to the presentation. So how do you mitigate that, right? So fear of the consequence, fear of what's going to happen, not sure if you have the authority to decide. How do you mitigate those issues that stop you from making decisions that actually have the impact that you're desiring? So I just put up here, there are 5 steps, just things for you to consider in terms of being better at making decisions. So the first one is be clear on your purpose. What specifically is the decision that needs to be made? So I'm going to use an example here. For us as a small business, one of the things that we decide on every day is, should we bid after a contract opportunity or not? Bid or no bid? So I'm just going to use that example. Again, just think about it in terms of what you have to decide on regularly. So if you're working in an organization, it may be, maybe deciding on a vendor. It may be deciding on, do I confront an issue or not confront an issue with a fellow employee? Or, do I have the, making a decision on getting launching a new product or making some changes to a report, something as simple as that. And so, but what is that decision that needs to be made? What is the problem you're trying to be solved? Be clear on that. Because I think that a lot of times we don't even realize that what the solution to the problems that we have is that a decision needs to be made. So there is a popular saying that 50% of your problem is knowing what the problem is. 50% of the solution to your problem, is knowing what your problem is. So that's the number one step, is really spend some time and be clear, especially when it's a really consequential decision, especially when it's a decision that has multiple layers of impact beyond you, that it affects other people, it affects the organization, it affects reputations. You really want to be clear on what it is you're trying to achieve, what is the decision that is going to be made. And being clear on that, it also helps eliminate fear. So one of the things that I say about fear is that one of the antidotes to fear is clarity. As long as things are in the dark and there are a lot of gray areas, the fear can fester. But once you start to really become clear, the fear is still there, but at least you know what it is specifically you're trying to do. Okay. The second step is gather your intelligence. This is very critical when you're making decisions. We're in an information age, guys. Information is everywhere. Data is everywhere. Before you make a decision, you really want to make sure that you spend some time really finding out key information that will help you. I always tell leaders when I coach leaders, and part of my work is working with emerging leaders within federal agencies and also small business owners. I've done quite a lot of that over the years, is really understanding that you cannot make a good decision with bad intelligence. You cannot make a good decision with faulty information. You always want to try to be as accurate as possible, right? With the information that influences your decision. So that's the second point, is gather intelligence. The third point is evaluate the possible outcomes. So this speaks directly to the number one difficulty people have with making decisions, which is the fear of the consequence. I think, it's really critical that you spend time, and we're going to talk about the decision analysis matrix, which is a tool that we've taught leaders and managers to use to make decisions, on really evaluating the possible outcomes. I think sometimes being proactive instead of reactive, and really settling down to think about, okay, what is the trickle down effect? Not just the immediate effect, but the long-term effect of this decision. It really helps to know that even though you're taking a risk by making that decision, it's a calculated risk. And also it helps you with preparation. It helps you to know, okay, here are some potential pitfalls that may happen as a result of my decision, but at least I'm aware of it and I'm prepared. And that way, again, it speaks to that fear, so that you're not so scared because you don't know what's going to happen. So spend some time evaluating the possible outcomes. Number 4, choose a decision. This is a big one. And this is one of the things that requires a lot of courage. It requires experience in working in your field. It requires confidence as a leader, as a manager, to be bold and decisive. One of the things that can really confuse your team members or confuse the people that you lead is when you're wishy-washy. You're neither here nor there. The words like maybe, it could be. Like people don't know where you stand. Very hard to make a decision because you don't want to be responsible. I think a big part of leadership is really understanding that the onus falls on you, and you make your decision, and the chips fall where they may. You may not always get it right, but at least you have that confidence to stand by what you decided. And then the last step is implement the decision. Okay, so these are just very high level things. Again, we teach this class over a period of 3 days, the problem solving, but just picked out this decision part because we only have 30 minutes on the webinar. So let's delve a little bit into what I talked about is, okay, how do you actually make the decision, right? What can help you? What is a tool that you can use to help you make decision? And so you may have heard of this or not, but it's the MCDA, it's a multiple criteria decision analysis. Senior level management, they use this tool. It's a tool to make decisions all the time when they're looking at different product lines to add, when they're deciding on a vendor. If you're a government contractor, evaluators of your proposal use this all the time when they're trying to decide between vendor A, B, C, and D. So you can also implement this. And I've kind of like created a simple form that I am going to put up and share with you on this. Well, let me go through the slides a little bit, and then I can bring the form. So how do you actually make a decision, right? How do you use this? So a couple of things. Decision maker, you must have the authority. So if you're a small business owner or you work in a very small organization, that's very easy to decide. Who's responsible for what, and you know what you're responsible for. But being clear on whether you're a decision maker for a topic is not very easy when you work for a very large bureaucracy. So you have to know that you are the decision maker, and it's not just about your title. It's also about what you influence, right? Or what role you play. Because you can have the title, but you don't necessarily have the authority. So be very clear about that and understand and know whether you are the decision maker for that particular decision. And if you are not the decision maker, identify who is, and you can work with them to come to a decision. But be clear on who the decision maker is. And the biggest thing is that the decision maker must have the authority, which means that they must have the ability to execute on that decision, because a decision means nothing if it's not implemented. Okay, so that's just the basic thing, is the decision maker has to have the authority. The second part of the matrix is that you have choices or alternatives. Remember in the beginning when we talked about a decision, is basically picking out one thing from a lineup of many, right, to solve a problem. So there are options available. So if there are no options, then it's not really a decision, it's a directive, because you only have one way to go. Okay, and then part of the MCDA is that you also have factors, you have different interests. So again, there are different ways that you can qualify those factors, right? So going back to our example here at AMA, talking about a bid or no bid decision, we always look at, okay, what is it going to cost us to be able to execute on this contract? You know, what kind of quality can we bring to the table? What quals do we have? What past performance? What can we bring to the table for this client and not, to win, and also to perform? You know, where is the location? We don't necessarily do all of our services. We don't necessarily perform all of our services in all 50 states or internationally. Where's the location of the opportunities is something that we can do. And then we look at reliability. We look at speed. Okay, so those are some of the things that we look at. And again, the factors are going to be different depending on the kind of decision that you need to make. So I want to show you an example of how you actually work this. And if you're interested in getting this form, I'm going to put my email in the questions box so that you can send me an email and we can send it to you. But here's an example of a decision matrix analysis worksheet, right? So again, let me just say, for example, you're trying to buy, I just want to make it something, let's say you're trying to decide on a vendor, okay? And you're trying to buy computers, okay? So what are some of the factors that you will look at? You know, so you may look at quality. I hope everyone can see my screen. You may look at price. You may look at shipping time. Okay, so just very quick example. And then weights is how do you put a weight on a factor? What is most important on a, so you can do your factors two different ways, right? So adjectival, which is qualitative, so that's something like excellent, very good, good, neutral. Or you can do it ordinal, that's numbers on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. What is most important to you? So you would put a weight on each of these, and then you will put and then be on the vertical column, you would put the options that you have. So you can go to Best Buy. Again, just saying you want to buy computers. You can go to Walmart, or you can go online to Dell. Okay, so and once you put the weights here, so let's say quality, let's say we're doing ordinal. Quality is most important to you, so on a scale of 1 to 10, you will give it an 8. Price is not that important to you, so on a scale of 1 to 10, you will give it a 6. The shipping time is important to you because you need those computers right now for a project, so you will give it a 10. Okay, so basically here, you would just rate each of these choices that you have, okay? And you total it, and then, you know, and that the choice that has the highest score, that's the decision that you make. That's the choice that you pick. So this is a good way to make decisions. Why is this a good tool, especially for you know, when you're dealing with a very consequential issue? It's a good tool because it removes bias. You know, believe it or not, every time we make a decision, we are making that decision based on the information that we already have stored in our brains, right? Based on our experiences, based on our inferences, based on how we make meaning of what comes on around us, based on our knowledge and our understanding of the events. So that sways us heavily towards a familiar decision. So in order for you to really remove bias, especially for a very consequential decision, it's helpful to utilize a tool like this. It's also helpful when you are not the only person that is a stakeholder in making that decision, right? Because then there is like a neutral way for us to build consensus around making a decision to solve a problem, where it's not just, yeah, let's go with Best Buy just because I like Best Buy, but we've actually gone through a process using the decision analysis matrix to see why we're going to pick Best Buy to purchase the laptops. So, and then the last thing I just wanted to point out here was the power of choice. I mentioned it earlier that one of the challenges, especially developing leaders, new managers, you're new to an organization, is really having that confidence to know that you are the decision maker, and that you have the authority to make this decision, and to trust that the decision that you make is going to be a good one and not fear the consequences. So that is the power of choice, and that power lies within you. That you have it. If you are the decision maker, you have those resources, and I'm telling you, just deciding on something removes a burden, a weight off of you. Even if the consequences may not be optimal or may not be what you want, but just for the fact that you've made a decision, you've moved one step further, right, in solving the problem. Because what's the worst that can happen is that your decision or what you decided to do doesn't work out. Now at least you know you've eliminated that option, that didn't work out. That is the power of choice. But as long as you don't make a choice, you don't make a decision, you're going to be inept, you're going to be stagnant, you're going to be stifled. And if you're a leader, people know when you're wishy-washy, and they will play on that, or it will demotivate them. So the power of choice is very critical. That brings me to the end of the webinar. Just a few quick things that I want to mention before I open up for questions is AMA Consulting. Our website is on here. We're located in Atlanta. Please connect with us on social media. But we have a conference coming up November 11th. It's the Magnificent Leadership Conference. I have facilitated this event for 4 years, so this will be our 5th year. I used to call it the Planning Conference, and it was geared more towards federal contractors. But this year, we are expanding it to be a leadership conference, and we are inviting leaders from government, from academia, to come talk about overcoming obstacles to growth. That's the theme of the conference. We intend to make it an annual conference. It's going to be at the UMUC Marriott in College Park or Adelphi. We are going to have dynamic speakers come talk about everything from your leadership style, motivation, how to do business with the federal government, how to retain and recruit employees, financing. We are going to have PGEDC exhibit, SBDC, PTAC, Eagle Bank. I mean, the goal of the conference is really to provide a full day of networking, powerful speakers, dynamic discussions through the breakout sessions, and of course, there'll be food, breakfast and lunch. So click on our website, and it will link you to the conference. And I'm actually also going to put it here. And if you're interested in getting this worksheet, the decision worksheet I just sent out, let me know. And then I'm going to open up for questions. We have a few more minutes before we close out. Any questions? Any questions? Still waiting on questions. We have a few more minutes. I just sent the link to the entire audience for the conference. So check it out. If it's something that will be of interest to you, please register now. We still have the early bird registration. The fee to attend goes up. And just so you know, AMA Consulting, we don't really make any money out of the conference. It's not like a For us, it's not necessarily a marketing tool. It's something that I realized that in the county, there's really nothing that really brings business leaders together, right? To empower them. And so we started this on a very small scale 4 years ago, and we're making it larger. So I sent the link out, and we also have another webinar coming up on the 20. I don't have the exact date, but I know the topic is starting your business on a shoestring. I don't have that exact date here with me. Any questions? Oh yeah, here's one. It says, okay, okay. Diane says, can this decision tool be used for a decision to start a small business? When to start a small? If so, can you provide an example? Yes, absolutely. You can use this tool to make a decision of when you can start a small business. And you would just use it the same way. So if you go back, if I can go back for a second to the form. Yeah, you would look at the factors, and I think in terms of starting a small business, you want to look at number one. So the factors will be number one, is there a need for my services? For my services, my customers, who are my customers? Do I know my customers? Do I have what resources? What resources, right? And you can also not only use it for knowing when you can start your business, but also you can use it for knowing what kind of market entry strategy do you want to use. So for example, you can put the factors on there, and your options can be, do I sell online? Do I open a store? Do I partner with someone else? Or do I go myself? And you can use, so again, it goes back to the original point, is what decision is to be made. You have to be clear on that. And once you're clear on that, then you start to piece out the different factors that you want to consider. And then you look at what options you have, and you can use the tool that way. Thank you for that question. Next is on the 26th. Thank you so much. The next webinar is on the 26th, and it's starting your business on a shoestring. All right. If we don't have any other questions, it's 12:30, so we're going to wrap up. I put the information about the conference link. Thank you so much for attending. And if you are interested in getting this worksheet, please, your email is info. Yes, absolutely. Send an email to info@ama-consult.com if you are interested in getting the worksheet. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful Wednesday and a wonderful rest of the week.